Now you'll see this screen, which is a classic. You have arrived after a journey from the mountain homes into the blah 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 blah. Glaze chaos. Strike the earth. Hit enter or escape and keep going. And then now you're in your playable area. Here is kind of the view, again a bird's eye view, of your whole area. The whole place that you're going to be playing. These are your dwarves, all these little smiley faces. They're color-coded according to their skills. Over here is a list of different hotkeys to make commands, such as to build things, designate things, military reports, announcements, etc. And over here is a much larger map of your gameplay area. You can move the camera around using the arrow keys. Okay, take a good look at your surroundings before you start playing. You should notice in the corner here it says paused. That's good. This will give you a chance to really see what kind of place you selected and to plan ahead what you want to do. You can press space to unpause it and space to pause it again. All these blue squiggles here are a stream. These blue areas are little lakes. All these green things right here are trees. The dots and commas are really just grass or ground. You don't really have to worry about those. So now, first thing we want to do is dig into the mountain. What we see here is all of this green is the ground, the grass, and everything. And then here is an elevated wall. And this black area is essentially underground. We don't know what's past there. That's why we dig in. Your dwarves, unless you want to make an entire outdoor castle, you know, made of wood or stone or something, which is entirely possible. But as beginners, it's best to just dig into to strike the earth, essentially, and dig your fortress into the side of the hill or mountain that you start off. Alright, so we're going to hit D to choose designations. Hit D again to choose mine up here. Now, again, you're giving a little yellow X for a cursor. You're going to select an area. I like to clear out all of this little stuff so I have a nice square area. You hit enter to select, and then hit enter again to choose the area you want. The places to mine are highlighted. Also, the game pauses whenever you hit designate. So now we're going to build a little doorway. Now you generally want a 3x3, or not 3x3, 3x10 area as an initial walkway. This gives your dwarves space to move around in and out of the fortress, and it's also much easier to defend than just a 1x1 area. Or 1x10, I mean. Here, you're going to want an area that's a good 6 or 7 by 6 or 7. Even that's good. That's be where your trade depot comes. Off to one side. Build a nice 10 by 10 area. That will be your stockpile, where you're going to put all of your stuff. And then up here, you're going to build a nice 3 by 3 area. That'll be where your staircase goes to go down and up. Alright. We have that designated for the miners. Now you hit T to choose chop down trees. Excuse me. Over here in the menu. And again, you'll just select a wide area where you can see a lot of trees. Again, a 10 by 10 space is good. You don't want to chop down all the trees at once. And then the trees that can be chopped down are highlighted. And as soon as we unpause the game, our miners and woodcutters will get working on that. So now I'd hit the escape button to get out of the designation menu, and then space to unpause, and you'll see that the dwarves are moving around, getting to work on whatever jobs I gave them. Here the carpenter is cutting down the tree and leaving behind a log. Up here, the miner is digging into the earth. Now these other dwarves here don't have jobs yet, so they're just kind of hanging around their caravan. Let's give some of them something to do. Right now we're going to designate fishing zones, which is good. It's a very great early source of food. Hit I to choose activity zones. Now you set a place. To do a nice fishing zone, you just put it directly next to the river. That works. Then you'd hit F and W. That way you can use it as a fishing and as a water source. and then you just press escape to escape that menu, and now your fisher dwarf should go over and start fishing. While we're waiting for them to finish, I'm going to show you a couple of other basic functions of the game. You can use K to look around, and what it does is it gives you this yellow X cursor again, and you can just put it over anything. You don't give anything commands in this menu or jobs or anything, you just observe what they are. And it'll say up here, put the cursor there, it says there's a stray horse and some dense hair grass here. Over here, stray dog, wagon, dense drop seed grass. Open space, underneath that is water. Over here, the wall that we're digging into, this is a good thing to check. This is a silt wall, which is essentially just soil, which is, you know, what you should be starting off on. So sometimes you'll start off where it's all rock right away. Also, soil, clay, sand, all of that is very easy for your miners to dig into, so hopefully they should be able to be done with their job pretty fast. Okay, now that your miners are done clearing the inside area, we're going to designate some things. So first, press the P button to choose stockpiles. This is where you're going to store all of your stone, wood, food, furniture, finished goods, etc. But right now we want to store the wood that we just chopped down. So you'd hit W to choose a wood stockpile. Move your cursor to this large area, and I would say designate about half of it. You don't need all of it. Right there, hit enter again, and that's your wood stockpile. We're also going to make a separate stockpile for just about everything else. So what you do is choose C for custom stockpile, T to adjust the custom stockpile settings, and you're brought to this menu where you choose what goes in your stockpile. For now, use E to highlight everything except corpses. Don't want to do that. Refuse, stone, and wood. Those are the things you do not want. You're going to keep those in separate stockpiles. Everything else is all set. Hit X, or escape, excuse me. Enter, designate that area. And there you go. Now we have a couple of separate stockpiles. Now when the game is unpaused, you'll notice that all of those dwarves start moving. Most dwarves are automatically set with the hauling labor enabled, which means that anything laying around, if there's a job that they're supposed to move, any dwarf will come over and move it, whether it's, you know, a piece of wood, some furniture, a bracelet, something, anything that needs to be moved. What we're also going to do now is hit the B button to define buildings. Then you can go all the way down to Trade Depot, which is right there, past it, or you can hit Shift D to do the hotkey. And now you're given this red square right here of X's. This is the size of your building, the area that it's going to take up. So you want to give it the nice open space in the middle we put right there. Choose it. It requires 3 things. Right now all we have is some logs, so choose 3 cedar logs. And then your dwarves will immediately get started building on that. Now this obviously isn't enough space for our dwarves to live in, so we're going to have to make them expand. To do that, we're going to dig down, and down, and down, and down, and down, until we reach the center of the earth. Eventually. But right now, we're just going to go down a couple levels. So we're going to hit Build, hold down Shift C to choose Constructions. We want to build downstairs, and place it right here where we put the staircase before. Again, you can make it out of logs. You can also designate an unmined area into a downward stairway or any other type of stairway if you'd like. But I forgot to do that before, so I'm showing you how to build one. Also, you can use the X button when you're in the designation menu to choose remove designation from anything if you ever made a mistake making a designation. Now, once your dwarves get a second from hauling all of that stuff, they'll go over and build the staircase that you just designated. Alright, now that your dwarves have built your trade depot and the staircase, we're going to have them dig down. First thing you want to do is go back to the designation menu, hit I to choose an upward down staircase, and put the cursor right over where your downward staircase is. Now we're going to move the camera down 1 Z level. If you think of a Y and X graph, the Z is the one going up and down, perpendicular to Y and X. That's essentially what we do here, to go up, and then down, further down, like that. Alright, so to do that, you'd hold Shift and the greater than symbol, or the period symbol, to go down 1 Z level, and then the less than symbol to go up. So we want to go down, and now that yellow cursor is right where the downward staircase was. We want to build an up-down staircase right underneath our former downward staircase. So you choose that, hit enter a couple of times to designate it, and then your miners will come down and mine it out. Let's give them a chance to do that. Once they've dug out that staircase, we can then expand upon it. So you hit D, and mining should already be enabled, but if not, enable that. Right now we're going to build a bedroom area. It's the easiest way to do that. I just go straight down the middle and go 10 spaces either way, which you can hit shift and any of the arrow keys to move 10 spaces instantly. Designate that. Another 10 spaces that way. And this large hall area, this hallway, allows dwarves to walk past each other rather than walking over each other, which they would do if it was just a 1 space long hallway. We're going to build rooms off to the sides of this. You just want to make it, 2 by 2 rooms. Once you've done that, you want to build little hallways between them. That way dwarves can actually get in. And don't worry about the size of the rooms just yet. They're not very picky, so they don't mind being in such cramped quarters. Now, our miners are going to get started on that. You'll probably notice by now that in your stockpile there's quite the buildup of purple Z's. That is remains, or trash of some sort. Refuse, as we call it in this game. If we look at it with our look around cursor, we can see there's a large roach remains, probably some rat remains every now and then. Not fun stuff. These dead animal remains will eventually turn into miasma, which is basically stink, noxious gas created from these rotting corpses. Things that aren't nice, especially for your dwarves. Miasma will form if you leave them there too long, and it'll make your dwarves very unhappy. So we're going to form a garbage dump. Here to hit I to do activity zone again, and choose an area 1 by 1 spot right outside your front entrance. Now you hit G for choose garbage dump, and now, believe it or not, an infinite amount of items can be stored in that one garbage dump. So you never have to worry about where all of those dead critters go. They'll just go in that one spot and won't take up any other space. Alright, so now we're going to go back to look around and put our cursor on each of the dead rodents, and you want to hit D, and you'll see a big purple D appears next to their name. That means that this item is going to be dumped. So as soon as a dwarf gets a chance, it's going to go put it in the garbage. You should only worry about the things inside your fortress, because those will cause miasma. These things outside, don't even worry about them. If something rotten is outside, it won't cause any miasma. You want to dump all of the rotten items that find their way into your fortress. Sometimes those rotten items won't be on top. You'll notice that this is highlighted instead of the large roach remains. You can use the plus/minus symbols to go up and down on these menus. You want to highlight the large roach remains. You don't want to dump your dwarven ale barrel, because your dwarves need to drink. Okay, that's going to be it for the getting started tutorial. Again, this is a very introductory tutorial. I didn't show you how to do very much yet, just the very, very basics of getting started. In the next one, I'll show you how to better designate rooms and areas, how to build a whole workshop section. This way you can have your dwarves do industry and build things like furniture and beds for your dwarves to sleep in, and also how to make a dining hall and kitchen complex. Alright. Also, probably the best resource you can get to play this game is the Dwarf Fortress Wiki, which I suggest everybody check out. It's incredibly helpful and detailed. I'll post a link to it in the comments. I'll post a link to it in the description of this video. Alright, I hope you enjoyed it, and check out our next one. Bye.